miracles. But before this is in NeoThink One Key book on page 425. That's what we will be working through today. But before we get into 15-second miracles, because everybody always, what page is that on and how do I do it? And I know I told this before, and this was years ago. And I was on the phone with Steve Fagan and Steve Rapella, and if anybody knew, Steve Rapella is Mark Hamilton's right-hand man. And the three of us I forget why we were on that call together, but it was just the three of us. And we were talking, and we were going through a spurt where everybody was asking Steve Fagan and myself, what is the 15-second miracle? What's the 10-second miracle? How do what page and all that? So we asked Rapella what his definition of it was, and he said, I talked to Mark years ago, and he said, Mark Hamilton said that the 15-second miracle was one simple step. Well, not simple, but it's just one step. And he says, is taking responsibility for your life. And I'm thinking, why did he say that? And then after thinking on it for about, I don't know, under half a minute or so, I had that breakthrough. Oh, now I get why he's saying it. And I think Steve Fagan felt it the same way. He finally, I didn't think it was that. And it really took me a while to wrap my head about that concept, but I understood it almost right away. But then to wrap your mentality around that. So what he means by that, and then I'm going to cover what he says about it, but because he doesn't mention it in this part about you have to take 100% responsibility for your life. Now understand, when you take 100% responsibility for your life, it doesn't mean you're going to take 100% responsibility for your life. None of us is doing that yet. I know I've gotten better at it once I made that commitment to myself. And that scared the hell out of me when I made that commitment. Because when you take 100% responsibility for your life, I think the biggest thing is, because we still suffer from mythicism, so we can't say that we're taking 100% responsibility for our life, but that's our goal. And we made that vow to ourselves. Okay, but when you do that, you know now, though, that you can't blame anything on anybody else. If you failed to something, if you didn't do something, you can't blame anybody else but yourself. That's why I tried to commit to taking 100% responsibility for yourself. It's very hard to do, and because the day I took it, I vowed to say I'm going to take 100% control of my life and take that responsibility. It scared the hell out of me, but I also felt a big sense of freedom. And it made me excited because now, for the first time in my life, I was like 57 years old when I took this vow. And I'm only 58 now. Something caught in my throat there. But now you know, though, that if you just say, I have control of my life, I'm going to do what I can to make that better. And I'm going to do it gives you a purpose now. And it gives you a sense of freedom that you never felt before. And a sense of excitement. You feel more power. Because now you're going to finally do it. You thought about this maybe your whole life, about taking more responsibility, but not doing it. Always backing out or something. And then blaming it on it. Because the easiest thing in the world to do is when you failed, oh, man, that's my parents' fault. That's my teacher's fault. That's my spouse's fault. You blame it on anybody. And if you want to learn how to blame it on anybody, just watch a politician. And they'll blame it on anybody but themselves. They'll throw their mother under the bus. Just so that they don't have to take the responsibilities, because they never do. So when you do that, 15-second miracles, they can happen to you every day. When you take control of your life, you can do anything. And the key to that is you have to believe it. You have to believe that you can have these 15-second miracles. And the only way that you can do that is taking responsibility first. Because now you know, if you start, because if you really want this, and knowledge is power, right? But you have to make it happen. This is where you will get it from, because now you will take action because you're taking responsibility for your life. If you don't get 15-second miracles, who are you going to blame? You haven't taken responsibility for your life yet. Because if you truly went after that and said, this is my goal, is to do that, then this is where you start. This is where you, believe me, how many people here have failed miserably at a mini-day schedule? I was one for years. Okay? But when I took that vow to say I'm taking control of my life, all of a sudden I could do mini-days because I wasn't blaming anybody else now. And I don't want to blame me for it, so let's do it. I don't have to worry about blaming people. I don't have to worry about blaming anybody else ever again now. Because it starts and stops with me. And that's where you can have these 15-second miracles. You have to believe me, Neothinking is just so intertwined with each other. The puzzle pieces just fall in place. So if you take responsibility for your life, these things will happen. And I'm going to read a lot of this right out of the book because he really hits it hard. You know, he says, I have a very important, potentially life-changing question to ask you. How would you like your life to almost magically transform virtually overnight, virtually in 15 seconds, into what you have always dreamed it would be? That's a long question. But we all thought of it. What would it feel like? Well, you can and you will. Okay? Because it's going to reveal highly guarded insights, and you will eventually acquire omniscient-like power, which means knowing everything. I want you to think about something very seriously for just a moment. If you could have any wish come true, what would it be? And have you ever asked that question? What is your most important wish? What is, like, if somebody said, give me the wish that you always have but never happened yet. If you don't know that wish, you're not even trying. That should be number one. Yeah, this is my wish. Doesn't matter what it is, but you should know what it is. If you blew away preconceived notions, you would wish for omniscient knowledge. Because knowledge is power, which is the key to everything you could ever want, from riches to romance. Indeed, omniscient-like knowledge is God-like power. Now, obviously, when I read that for the first time, that was not my number one wish. It is now. It's been since then. Knowledge. Knowledge from Neothink, not knowledge from the AC world. Knowledge from the civilization of the universe. You start learning this knowledge, and your life will change. Because when you're taking that responsibility for your life, you will have these breakthroughs that will happen within 15 seconds. Well, maybe some of them will even go to 30 seconds before you get it. But now you're going to start getting them. Because it's your goal to learn this knowledge. It's your goal that I'm going to take responsibility for my life. Wow. I can't miss now. And you can't. You will do this. You've got to believe it. But you got to make these commitments to yourself. You can read these books until you're 95 million years old. But if you don't take action and believe it, that your life can change, it never will. So if you could design and create your personal ideal lifestyle right now, how could it happen? And it can only happen through this knowledge. Having $1 million in the bank comes from omniscient-like knowledge. Think about it. You would know everything. You would have God-like power. Imagine not having to work a typical job anymore. That could happen with omniscient-like power and knowledge. Think about this. With this knowledge, what type of car would you drive? What type of home would you live in? What type of clothes would you wear? And would you travel? And where? What type of relationship would you have? Just think about that question. Imagine having that perfect relationship finally in your life. You would always be happy. Imagine that, always being happy. Whew. Imagine having no stress or anxiety. What would happen with omniscient knowledge? Because you would lead your life with godlike power. And as God-man, people will always want to be your friend. You would become the quintessential self-leader. All those things would happen by believing in yourself, by taking responsibility for your life, by learning how to do 15-second miracles. All those things happen, and they can happen very quickly. And once you believe it, once you believe that you can take responsibility for your life, once you believe that you can learn this knowledge, and you understand it, and you know it's going to happen for you, think of the power that you have now. Think of the confidence that you'll feel. You'll have 15-second miracles all the time. Then he says, I am letting you know flat out that these things can happen to you by learning the NeoThink 15-second miracle to omniscient-like knowledge in part 3 that follows, which is this chapter. Let me say it again. Your ideal life can be yours. But how do I know that? I have mastered the 15-second miracles to omniscient-like knowledge. I have become the God-man. Aha. Mark Hamilton did it. Why can't you? Now, how exactly does this work? Illuminations dominate the world. Yeah. Illusions dominate the world. Yeah, I'm all right. Illusions control you. When you learn to see through the illusions, through the essence of things, those appearances, to what is. And where do we hear that first? Miss Annabelle. Then you control the world around you. When you can see through the illusions of the news, of this virus, and all the bull stuff, all the crap that's with that, you can control the world around you. Not listening to the news, you can control the world around you. When you don't participate in the AC world, you control the world around you. And we've talked about that a lot lately. Before long, you will be making these omniscient-like insights into life. A time will come when you can make similar omniscient-like insights in about 15 seconds. And those 15-second miracles, insights, enable you to control life at the next level. In the big leagues, he calls it. Now imagine having the time and money to do what you want, when you want it, and with whom you want it. Imagine smiling and laughing every day. And do you do this now? Are you seeing yourself in the future, living the good life, living in the big leagues, living with the perfect mate, living in the perfect house, having the car you always wanted, having the clothes you always wanted, having to travel whenever you want? These things can happen. But if you see yourself doing this, it will happen. Having more physical energy than you would ever imagine, being at your perfect weight and looking great, having self-confidence and being in control of your life and the future, NeoThink Insights, the 15-second miracles, can make all these fantasies become a reality. Now, he also mentions this, but like I would imagine a lot of us have skimmed this when he says, having more physical energy than you ever imagined, being at your perfect weight and looking great. It's not just having a knowledge, but now, since you have taken responsibility for your life, you should be in better physical shape. You should be exercising. You should be watching what you're eating. All of these things is taking responsibility. And he slips it in there, and he later on he does talk about that, but you have to think about that too. Everything about your life, mentally, emotionally, physically, all those things we must do to have these 15-second miracles, to have this knowledge. That's all there. By absorbing these neothink insights and gaining their omniscient-like knowledge, you will begin making neothink insights on your own, all around you, your own 15-second miracles. You will know what is going on in life. You will be 100% in control. You will be the God-man. That's what I like about neothink. He's telling us. Some lady left me a message on the phone the other day, and I haven't talked to her yet. Haven't caught up with her. Oh, I read 6, 7, 8 books now. I know all this stuff. This is boring. I'm not getting anything out of this stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, wow, you have to be kidding me. These things will happen. Because anybody who says that to me, I'm asking, well, how's your life going now? Oh, well, I'm not feeling really good, and I'm out of work, and I'm broke, and I'm this, and I'm not, the dog died, all the, but yet they know all this stuff, But Mark says here that he wants you to really understand just how real and legitimate this miracle is. For example, I am not some invisible person. I am a well-known, successful person. Everything you are reading is 100% true and documented. With all my heart, I want you to know this, that this has worked for me, and this will work for you too. But they prove it. They prove how to do it. They take you step by step, and with everything in here. But now, a lot of the times why we haven't hit this, okay? Because the ruling class illusions will make you feel as if there is a curse on you. No matter how hard you work, you cannot save any money. It just seems to slip through your fingers. And so does love. It seems to never last. Maybe you want to lose weight but keep gaining weight. Maybe you have the strange feeling that people do not like you and are working against you. Ruling class illusions cause these problems. In our ruling class code of living, you can never develop the confidence and peace of mind for that magical, magnetic energy that seems to just attract good things into your life. But the neothink insights change all that. Indeed, a miracle will happen when you read part 3. While reading the neothink insights, you will observe the magic ingredient that this integrates ruling class illusions. Your integrating mind will leap into neothink and discover your own ability to perform neothink insights. At first, those insights will take days. In time, they will take you. Wait a minute, I just lost my place here for a minute. Yeah. At first, those insights will take days, but in time, they will take 15 seconds. You will see these through the illusions, through all the illusions, institutionalized by our ruling class leaders. You will become the omniscient self-leader, the God-man. So all this that we have talked about for the last couple of months, it's all coming together here. All right? Separate from the AC world. Take responsibility for your life. Learn this insights. Learn neothink. Believe that you can. Have your goals sitting there. What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to be? See yourself. All these pieces of the puzzle, in my mind right now, is just forming, and the pieces are coming at me here. All right, and they're just snapping together. And now the picture's there. That's what we must do. All right. Soon, with the strength of neothink, you will drill into the subject with astoundingly deep bedrock insights in just a few seconds. You will experience omniscience. When this happens, you will feel some deep change within you, as if a huge weight is lifted off your shoulders. You will feel you are beginning to see life for the very first time. It will look as if colors are changing and becoming more vibrant and bright. You will feel your breathing is easier. You will feel your shoulders go back as if you were gaining height. This change is a physical transformation one goes through when becoming the self-leader. This incredible rush will go through your body like electricity or energy while reading part 3. It will seem your body is becoming energized and more vibrant. Something will happen inside you. It's hard to describe, but it is very real. This will not be subtle. This will be a big thing happening to you. This is the moment that you will know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Neothink is changing your life forever. When I said your first big breakthrough here will be, whoa, I got Neothink now. Doesn't mean you know it all, but you know that your life will never be the same. That will excite you to no end. It will never leave you. And to think that you'll never be that old person again, the old you. Because sometimes you might have a couple of days ago and we think we're going back to that old person again. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You never want to go back there. You won't ever let that happen anymore because you never felt the thrill for life as you feel it now. The people who leave here never get to this point. And that's their own fault. They can't blame that on anybody but themselves. And I'm living proof of this, people. 12 and a half years here. I've been on these calls now for about 9 or 10 of those years now. And I still get excited about coming up on these calls. I'm still excited about it. It has never left me. Because every day it just gets stronger and stronger. I don't think about my old self that much anymore. I don't want to. That person is gone. That's the person who didn't have the child of the past with them. That's the person who the imagination starts to go. You don't have that child of the past anymore. You lose that thrill for life. All those things that we've had and had for years when we came here, that's all gone now. But this is the moment that you will know, all right, that beyond a shadow of a doubt, Neothink is changing your life forever. Do not be surprised if beautiful, successful people start paying attention to you. Just start showing up around you and acting as if they want to get to know you. It may feel as though all of a sudden you have become the most intriguing person on the planet. It feels very strange and fun. It makes you feel good. And it really does. Because when you have that, and I know I talked about this a million times, you're in a room, you're at a party, or you're at a reception for a wedding, or you're at this big event, and this one person or a couple walks in, and they walk in the room as if they own it. And usually they're good-looking people, they're successful, and they show it. And they have that look on their face as if, I know something that you don't know. And for years, I used to see couples like that. I said, boy, I'd love to walk into a room like that someday. Now that's how I walk into a room. I got the confidence. I have this knowledge. And I just walk in a room that way now. I never did before. I just, I kind of hunched down and just, stay to the side and let the important people go by. He says now, listen to this. Once you start seeing through ruling class illusions and apply your own 15-second miracles, 15 seconds to godlike insights in any subject, any venture, well, everything in your life just starts working on your advantage instead of against you. You will now believe the lucky breaks almost on a daily basis. This is where you make your luck. Luck just doesn't happen. You make it happen. By taking action, by living the knowledge, by feeling good, and just saying, I want the luck. But stuck in the ruling class leaders' illusions, most people lose at life. tell you, it just works that way. They are unplugged to the power of the self-leader. They don't even realize it. That's the sad part. They don't even know it. Their income dries up. They begin feeling stressed out and anxious. They are not happy. Does this sound like you before you came here? They begin obsessive eating and gaining weight. Instead of being Mr. Lucky, they become Mr. Unlucky as the ruling class illusions work against them at every turn. They may even feel cursed, destined to be a failure. They may feel confused and angry. I remember years ago, I was going through a bad streak. Just for about a year or so, just nothing was going right. Probably changed jobs about 3 different times.
This is May 3rd of 2020. This is Big V's. This is Sunday night, and this is about the 15-second miracle. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight. And this is Charlie Moore speaking at this time.
And he said that, and I said, I almost hit him. I got really ticked off at him. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized he was right. I was walking around like the world owed me something. Like, why can't I have this, or why can't I have that? And that was the day that I started to build up my life again, at least for a while. But you might find yourself feeling, as you feel the power of being plugged into illusion-free, omniscient knowledge, you might wonder why wonderful things will happen in your illusion-free future. You might find yourself laughing as a kid as you feel confident again, in control, happy, at peace. With the knowingness that everything will turn out fantastic, life can be exciting again. I think we all came for that reason, didn't we? Have a good life, exciting. That's what this will do for you, all by just doing something that we should be automatically doing our whole lives, but it's taken away from us, is to take control of our life. It's our life. How dare somebody think that they can control us? How dare these politicians think that they should rule us? How dare we let the church tell us that we shouldn't even enjoy this life? It's all for the afterlife. Bullshit. Excuse me. This is where we take charge, finally. We finally take charge of ourselves. This is where we start making a difference, and this is where we start to grow. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Karen.